Thank you, everybody. Right, good afternoon. As James said, my name is Emma Banks, and I'm the Vice President of F&B Strategy and Development for Hilton across Europe, Middle East and Africa. It is a great honour to be talking today about a subject that is very close to my heart and very much a labour of love for my entire team, not to mention a key principle for Hilton as a whole. The word impact is a powerful one. It defines collision of one object forcibly coming into contact with another. It also speaks to influence, a powerful effect that something or someone has on a situation or person. So how does the food served by restaurants affect our planet? While the restaurant industry focuses on making memorable experiences for customers, it inevitably creates an impact on the environment. From the emissions released during livestock production, to the water used in the food supply chain, to the energy burned in transit, to the food waste generated along the way, restaurants create a substantial environmental footprint. Today, I want to share some actionable measures that can be taken to create less waste and environmental impact across your food and drink businesses, so that together we can strive for a net zero future, and quickly. The human species faces its greatest challenge, and understanding that everything you do has some effect, some impact of vital importance. Climate change is a code red for humanity, and we have only a short time to reverse our fortunes and limit a climate change catastrophe. We can still slow global heating and dramatically lessen its impact, but without action, the conditions on living on Earth will become unlivable. Together, we need to cut our carbon emissions in half by 2030, then half again by 2040, and then again by 2050, not tomorrow, today. The food and drink business is entirely reliant upon the natural world, but statistics show that as an industry, we tend to bite the hand that feeds us. From start to finish, the food chain is responsible for 30% of global carbon emissions. As an industry, we have to become solutions and climate smart in our approach. It sounds more daunting than it is. As with any challenge, the secret is to break it down rather than look at the whole. It is about being mindful in your approach, shaping your behaviours, and factoring in that consciousness that in everything you do, and I know what you are thinking, you want to reduce your impact, but it's just too costly. There's seemingly no ROI. Your margins are already impacted, and it's just too difficult. Plus, what difference will it actually make anyway? Integrating sustainability can have positive but limited impact if it's tackled on an ad hoc basis. Like with anything meaningful, you need a plan, a strategy. Luckily for us, the United Nations developed a roadmap that was designed to guide humanity. The Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, were created by the UN in 2015 as a universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet, and ensure all people enjoy peace and prosperity. The 17 SDGs are integrated. They recognise that action in one area will affect outcomes in others, and that development must balance social, economic, and environmental sustainability. For most part, we all live in a make waste environment globally. We take materials from the earth, make products from them, and eventually throw them away as waste. The process is linear. In a circular economy, by contrast, we try to stop waste being produced in the first place. It is a regenerative economic model designed to minimize resource input as well as waste and emission production. I would like to share some actionable measures that you can take in your businesses to support your sustainability agenda. One of the most impactful ways to reduce your business's carbon footprint is through procurement, by sourcing product responsibly. The luxury of living in a global economy is that you get produce all year round, independent of seasonality. If you operate a restaurant in Saudi and want blueberries in January, you can get them from Chile. However, those blueberries will have travelled thousands of miles to reach your restaurant, using a lot of fuel and generating harmful emissions in the process. In fact, 11% of food production related greenhouse gases are caused by transportation. In this part of the world, we are acutely aware of the challenges around food security, given the fact that we are in an arid desert environment. However, thanks to government vision and tech advancement, the agri-tech sector is booming and the produce stunning. To act global, we need to think local. Local sourcing helps reduce thousands of miles, ensure food is freshest when it hits the plate, minimising waste in transit, and supports local communities and economies. And it can also lead to some decent PR for your business too, because your products begin to tell your story. Having locally sourced food on the menu can help you appeal to those visitors who want a unique and authentic food experience, offering a true sense of place. Here in Saudi, the local produce is high quality and the national larder ever growing. Our approach was to first identify the line items that we could feasibly shift to local supply, given the scale of the requirement. And I'm delighted to say that we now at Hilton are purchasing 190 tonnes of Saudi tomatoes here in the kingdom. 5.5 tonnes of delicious local olives, not to mention thousands of litres of olive oil produced in the kingdom. 32 tonnes of shrimps and 271 tonnes of locally reared poultry, all no longer imported. In the UAE last year, we publicly committed to source 350 tonnes of local produce in partnership with agri-tech platform Fresh on Table. To meet this goal, 22 Hilton hotels across the country agreed to procure a minimum of 19 ingredients exclusively from UAE farms, with Fresh on Table acting as a catalyst. Thanks to an incredible show of force from our operators and support from our multiple stakeholders, we ended up buying 456 tonnes of local produce across 30 hotels and 167 different line items, which resulted in a saving of 128 million food miles, which is equivalent to powering 1,923 gasoline cars on a road for a year. All because we bought our tomatoes, capsicum, oysters, microherbs and leaves locally. This year, Hilton UAE has committed to purchase 900 tonnes of local produce through Fresh on Table. Companies like Hilton have a responsibility to leverage economies of scale to support the advancement of the industry. We have seen so much happen already, but we all need to commit to do more and quickly. At Hilton, we've experienced firsthand that by working together across our own properties, we managed to agree a cost-neutral basket. And in guaranteeing the farmers our business, we have seen them expand their ranges and improve their products. In turn, this led to market affordability for smaller businesses in a self-perpetuating cycle of success. As discussed, the food industry accounts for 30% of all greenhouse gases emitted. According to the Worldwide Fund for Nature, studies suggest that this figure could be cut in half if more people were encouraged to think about how much carbon dioxide equivalent, CO2e, they put on their plates and adapt their diets to introduce more climate-smart food and drink to mealtimes. Livestock agriculture produces 13 to 18% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions. However, not all livestock has the same impact on climate change. Lamb and beef can create more emissions than any other type of meat. According to researchers, beef production requires or produces 28 times more land, 11 times more water, and 5 times more greenhouse gases than any other livestock. In fact, it takes 1,800 gallons of water to produce just 1 pound of restaurant-ready beef. One of the most effective ways to inspire climate-smart decision-making is by offering delicious meat alternatives that lure a guest into a new lifestyle choice. Innovation in the plant-based sector has exploded in recent years, thanks in part to pop culture and to the ever-evolving demand of advancing generations who are far more health-centric, whether personal or planetary. This concept of plant-based diets has become popular due to their benefits for both human health and environmental impact. As a result of this positive shift in demand, the investment in meat alternatives has boomed, and the innovation across the once niche offer is one of the most exciting developments in recent years. It would be unrealistic of me to stand here and say that meat production should stop and we should all be forced to take on a new lifestyle. But introducing more plant-based choice or encouraging flexitarianism will have a huge impact. As humans, we are hardwired to remember stories. So telling your climate story is essential because stories stick. Environmental journalist Anna Turn says that climate is the biggest story of our time, but we need a new narrative. The culture of FOMO dictates that more of us do something, the more of us feel the peer pressure to join in. So I'm a firm believer in using your platform, whether that is your own personal LinkedIn account or your restaurant's social media channel, for constructive storytelling that inspires action. I have seen firsthand how it results in meaningful behavioural change. Familiarise yourself with and actively support your regional food security's mission. Work with programmes such as UNEP that enable change across the value chain. Their support is invaluable and it's free. Using your menu as a messaging tool is of crucial importance. From detailing the provenance of a dish, working with carbon labelling companies such as Climato, you afford your guests the opportunity to make climate-smart menu decisions. According to the United Nations, the reports food waste compromises 8 to 10% of total carbon emissions. We all know that if food waste were a country, it would be the third biggest polluter on Earth. It is also a $1 trillion problem. With 1/3 of all food being wasted, not having a strategy to deal with this misuse of our natural resources would be irresponsible, both fiscally and ethically. The land, water, energy, transportation, and labour that go into creating food are all wasted when we discard it. So we have to ask ourselves, why let our teams cook food if it's just going to end up in the bin? Food wastes proliferate on an account of the following barriers: lack of awareness, unhelpful social norms, misaligned incentives, and defective architectural choice. The key to change is behaviour consumerism and behavioural intervention. A lot of waste is being driven at the consumption end. Hospitality is a setting where behaviours could really be altered with a more mindful approach. As humans, we are heavily influenced by context, so changing the environment is key. Change can be affected in a myriad of ways. At an ops level, if you take a nose-to-tail or root-to-chute approach. There are many industry tricks to reducing food waste beyond tech. Menu engineering, smaller plates, smaller portions, extending the use of food using fermentation and preserving, upcycling, repurposing food, eliminating buffets in favour of aluminium or live stations, providing staff meals from surplus, diversion by donation and composting. As I always say, what gets measured gets done. Christian will remember that one. By simply keeping account of your waste as part of your inventory management, you will see a step change in behaviour from your team members. Better still, if you can afford an ESG management platform, you will be able to garner a better understanding of your businesses and take corrective action, thereby saving money and resources. As part of a region-wide wastage strategy, the Hilton F&B team has set aggressive internal compliance targets through benchmarking our food and drink venues, has seen a reduction of reported wastage by 5% per cover across 200 participating hotels, all of which is reported through our ESG management platform, Lightstay. The data in Lightstay is now used externally too. Hilton's clients can request the environmental impact of their businesses, travel and meetings through the meetings calculator that includes food wastage. Guests can also view a hotel's Lightstay data via the hotel's Wi-Fi's landing page. In addition, a pioneering project with Winnow AI technology, the artificial intelligence tool that helps chefs run more profitable, sustainable kitchens by cutting food waste in half across 21 hotels in 10 different countries across EMEA, resulted in annualized savings of 600,000 meals, a 50% waste to landfill reduction from inventory to plate, and a saving of 100,000 tonnes of carbon emissions. We have now, since this trial, rolled Winnow AI tech to 79 properties across EMEA and counting. Driven by the understanding that during the holy month, food waste doubles, and inspired by the fact that food is a blessing, this year we worked with Winnow and the United Nations Environment Programme, West Asia, to conduct a green Ramadan experiment across 3 markets, here in KSA, in the UAE, and in Qatar. Participating hotels adopted UNEP's sustainable Ramadan messaging to influence consumer decision-making. They forensically measured production and plate food waste using AI technology. They prioritised food local sourcing within a 50-mile radius. They focused on offering delicious plant-based dishes. They restricted plastic use across operations. They used Climato carbon labelling to allow guests to make climate-smart decisions. They partnered with food banks to divert by donation and composted excess food waste to close the loop and create soil. In short, we took every possible measure to reduce and minimise our impact in the pursuit of net zero in those hotels. Shortly, we will be issuing a white paper with United Nations Environment Programme and Winnow to share our findings. The results have been staggering and will inform our best practice henceforth. Not to mention, provide the hotel industry and food and drink industry with some invaluable insights into how to lessen the impact of buffet formats. Where's Simon Wright? Not in the room. Oh, there he is, waving. Which will remain a necessary component of our business model in the high-volume hotel F&B space. According to the World Bank, 719 million people, that is 9.2% of the world's population, are living on less than $2.15 a day. And children and youth account for 2/3 of the world's poor, and women represent a majority in most regions. Extreme poverty is largely concentrated in sub-Saharan Africa. You don't have to look that far from home to find those in need. One way to tackle the waste caused by overproduction is to work with local food banks to divert by donation. On a personal level, there are a myriad ways to support and create a culture of buy one, give one, versus buy one, get one when it comes to food. Supporting NGOs such as United Nations World Food Programme via their Nobel Prize-winning Share the Meal app, or regularly contributing to the likes of UNICEF can make a huge difference. Franklin D. Roosevelt famously said that the nation that destroys its soil destroys itself. Soil is important because it literally supports life on Earth. It is a mixture of rock, organic matter, air and water that holds water and nutrients, anchors roots and houses microorganisms and animals. Soil also helps reduce greenhouse gases by capturing carbon and filters water for drinking. Soil makes plants, animals and humans more resilient to environmental challenges like drought, flood or fire. Soil is an elixir of life. With the right partner, every food scrap can become a solution rather than a burden on our society and environment. Whether you elect for an off-site solution, you are literally turning your trash into treasure. Here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we've been working with Black Cow, who collect food scraps to create organic fertilizers and animal feed. In the UAE, we've been running a pilot scheme with women-led startup, The Waste Lab, across 4 properties, which we hope to roll out in due course. The results have been staggering. During the holy month, the team at Conrad Dubai transformed 4,285 kilograms of waste food scraps into 429 kilograms of compost, which is equivalent to 5,500 litres of gas not consumed, or nearly 600,000 smartphones not charged. We are in the middle, believe it or not, of a global eco-awakening, where we will continue to see people who vote with their feet, leaning towards companies who operate with fact-based accountability, integrity, and transparency. Local sourcing, food waste management, responsible procurement, plastic reduction is not a nice to have. It is the only way to ensure sustained growth. The recent tech acceleration in the F&B space surrounding both responsible sourcing and food waste management means that operators can no longer ignore their environmental impact. But it also highlights the cost-benefit potential of acting responsibly. We cannot rely on finite resources. We need to transition to a greener, circular, sustainable and more profitable economy. We need more bold leaders like you with a positive, regenerative vision. As individuals, as business leaders, our daily decisions have a huge impact. And make no mistake, we are all drivers of change. True change, however, starts with culture. Your company value system needs to inculcate care, and you will see the impact reaches beyond the confines of the working environment, as your team members will start to take their behaviours home with them too. COP28 represents a huge opportunity for this region. So it is time to dance like the world is watching. The biggest impact you can make in this precious life is to reduce your impact. The future of hospitality, ladies and gentlemen, is sustainability. Thank you very much.